നമസ്കാരം, എന്റെ പേര് ലൈസ ആണ്. ഞാൻ ഒരു അമേരിക്കൻകാരിയാണ്, പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പോ വിയറ്റ്നാമിലാണ്. എന്റെ ഭർത്താവ് അർജുൻ എന്നാണ്. അവൻ ഒരു കോച്ചിങ്കാരനാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ മലയാളം പഠിക്കുകയാണ്.
This is Elizabeth Caton, aka Elikutty, as the Gram calls her. She's an American and chronicles her Malayalam learning journey on her Instagram account. Her teaching methods are creative and artistic. Her Instagram account has over 39,000 followers, most of them who are Keralites settled across the world.
Namaskaram, ഞാൻ എലിക്കുട്ടിയാണ് and welcome to Learn Malayalam with Elikutty.
നമസ്കാരം, ഞാൻ എലിക്കുട്ടിയാണ്. അർമീനിയയിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം.
She was introduced to Malayalam mainly because of her husband who hails from Kerala.
Places together. സ്ഥലമാണ്, പക്ഷേ ഒരു പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. അതിന് എന്ത് പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്?
പാർക്കിംഗ്
ഇല്ല. കുറെ പ്രോബ്ലമുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ ഒരു spot we found and now we're going to go to the Blue Mosque. Blue Mosque പോവുകയാണ്.
I always felt like if you're in a relationship with someone who speaks another language, everybody's learning English. Why not make the effort to try to learn their mother tongue? So when I started to learn Malayalam, that's when I realized there's not really a lot out there to learn with. And so, with the help of some tutors and some books that I had found, I just started making a journal, and that's kind of how Elikutty got started. I've always loved languages, and once we realized that we were a serious couple and this was going forward, it came really naturally to me. And I'm definitely the kind of person where I always need a project, I always need something to do. I love being productive, and I like, creating things, especially if they're helping other people. And so this kind of happened, and it's funny because every time someone interviews Arjun, he'll be like, I didn't tell her to do any of this. He's like, I had nothing. She just went, and it's true. I just kind of got into a rabbit hole, and he always knows when I'm going to ask him like a Malayalam question, because I'll be like, Ajne, and he'll be like, Molu, what do you want? And I'm like, how come we use Cheria in this case, but we use Cherinu in this, and like it's like a little, and then he'll get he loves the fact that I'm really into the language, and he's gotten to the point now though where he's like, you need to speak with more educated people because you're starting to ask questions that I don't really know the answer to. I was like, I don't know why we do this, So I think for me, I am a language teacher. I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching for over 10 years. And a really good strategy for students to show that they understand a concept is to make them teach another classmate how to do something. So, you'll have students showing each other how to do something or making a presentation on how to do something. That's a favorite activity of mine. And so I think for me to help myself learn Malayalam, I thought about, if I were teaching someone this, how would I want to be taught, right? So because there wasn't as many resources as I'd like, I made the resources that I wanted there to be. So because a lot of stuff is written for people who speak Malayalam as their mother tongue, or they hear it all the time. They don't have so much speakers. So, and then social media for me just feels like a natural choice, because these days everybody uses their phone. If they want to learn something, they go to YouTube and they type in, how do I XYZ? And so it just felt natural, like, to put it out on social media, not only for others to see it, but also because of the community aspect. If I make a mistake, I'll have 150 people write me a message and say, oh, Chechi, what a mistake, and they'll tell me what I did wrong, and I won't forget that mistake. So it's really nice because there are a lot of people like me who are with a Malayali and they want to learn the language, or there are Malayalis that live abroad, either in different states in India or in other countries, that hadn't gotten a chance to learn how to read Malayalam. And I think this is just the easiest way for them to access that information. And it's small enough that, you take a minute of your day to watch a video, and you can look at it and review it at any time. And I think that format makes it much easier than sitting down and rolling in a course, especially with busy schedules and things like that.
Right.
And now, because I've been studying Malayalam, whenever I try to speak Spanish, sometimes the Malayalam word will interfere with with the Spanish word. I'm trying to think of something in Spanish and Malayalam is interfering. I think it's really frustrating. So the word for but in Spanish is pero, and in Malayalam it's pakshe. So like I was wanting to say something like, yo estudio español en mi escuela. I studied Spanish in my school, and I wanted to say, but I've forgotten a lot. And instead of saying pero se me olvidó, I said pakshe. So people are like. And even here in Vietnam, I don't know Vietnamese yet. I've just been here 2 months. So my brain automatically goes into Malayalam because it's like, oh, the foreign language. So we got in a taxi 2 weeks ago, and the taxi driver, he confirmed the location. He's like, you're going to this street in Vietnamese. I was like, oh, ade. And then I'm like, so it can be a bit difficult when navigating a new language while you're still learning another language. Yeah, for me, like you do have to just think and speak every day in the language. So like you'll have the easy things first, like in the chain, what are you doing? You know, or oh, നിങ്ങളുടെ ദിവസം എങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു? How was your day? You know, so like the things that you say often, like you memorize these, so you don't even think about what each word is. You just think about the function of the phrase. Like if I walk into the room and I want to turn on the AC, like immediately my brain is like, ah, you know, it's so hot. And like these are the things you associate certain functions with a whole chunk. We call it chunking in language learning. So you have these chunks of language that you know go together, and your brain, after practice, remembers to stick them together. And that's really helpful. And so it's just repetition, speaking, you know, when you have similar situations on a daily basis, your brain will keep it and it'll get together. So that's one thing that I do. I struggle with vocabulary the most, like memorizing new vocabulary. If it's not something that I would use on an everyday basis or something that I would see all the time, it does take me a while to recall that. And I need to make it a personal mission to memorize more vocabulary. I think after Verbtober, maybe we should do like Nounvember or something like that to kind of build the vocabulary. But, you know, it's just, you have to try to enjoy the process. Too many people, they want to be fluent in 3 months or, you know, be this and this so quickly. And it's more important to enjoy the process and see how your brain slowly starts adjusting. You know, the brain is a very plastic thing, and sometimes you feel like you're not learning anything new or you're not making any progress. And then one day you wake up and you just say something and you're like, wow, I just made a really long sentence, you know, really complex thought without really thinking about it. So it's fun like that. For me, I'm trying to think of a specific example. There's so many things. So verb tenses are very tricky for me because in English we're very prescriptive with our verbs. Like this is the present tense and we always use it for this, and this is the future tense. And for me it's a little bit difficult to remember. So I'm trying to use more types of verb phrases. So instead of saying like China, it's Nyan Keralatil or Natil, instead of saying I went to Kerala, you know, Nyan Keralatil Vannu, I would start saying like now I've been put on the spot. Vanitunda, right? Vahitunda? No, Vahitunda is to read. So yeah, Vanitunda. Like these extra kinds of verb phrases, they really much challenge me, and I just have to force myself to use these verb forms more. So I'll just walk around the house now, ask Arjun, I'll say like, is it correct to say blah? Or I'll just start adding things together until I create something, and then he'll be like, where did you hear that word? I said, I just made it. He goes, well, that's actually correct. I'm sorry, I'm not able to think of so many concrete examples. Or like using ulla as an adjective. Like, what's one example? Bhangyula, right? So we have ulla as an adjective. But sometimes I would use ulla instead of aya. And I'm sorry, I'm not giving really concrete examples. There's like a lot of little things. Yeah, it's those things that you don't think about it until you're starting to make sentences, and then you're like, oh wow, actually now I can do this. Uh, causes and effects. So in English, we say like, how am I going to say this? I was hungry, so no. How about this? I didn't have money, so I didn't eat. So like here, we would say like kasha illathadakonde nyan kaichila. So like the whole adding of the verbs, you're adding all these different endings, and you have to change the verb tense, and then in English we just say because, but in Malayalam there's like 5 different ways to show cause and effect, and so remembering how to change the verb, remembering what to add where, remembering that we switch that. It's all these little things that you think you'll never learn, and then one day you realize that you're catching yourself using causes and effect phrases when you're not thinking about it. So Ima Yao and Kumbalangi Nights. I really like Parvavi and Fahad Fasil. Benjamin had a book called Jasmine Days. I read that after purchasing it from the Hyderabad Literature Festival in January, and I got to meet Benjamin, and he autographed the book, so that was really cool. Mango mean curry, like the patimanga curry with mean. It's so nice, and yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Just I like sour, spicy food. A misconception. It's not all about beef, parota, and banana chips and manichitare. That's like the 3 things. Like if any Indian blogger wants to talk about Kerala, those are the things I'm like, really? They're so, like if you would go to the Malabar region, the food there is so different than anywhere else in Kerala. It's just, even Malayali from the south of Kerala it'll be foreign to them. It's just, they don't do it justice. And I really wish that there would be more nuanced like representation of Kerala, because there's just so much there. And yeah, but when bloggers want to get these fast hits, it's just yeah beef, or yeah manichitare. Like, yes, these are all accurate, but there's so much more to it than just that. Don't flatten yourself into this 2-dimensional stereotype. Aye. Aye, especially with the cats, aye in the chain. Or filler words like pinne, yeah. Or what else do I use so much stuff at home. Yeah. Exclamation che. These small things are just they come really quickly. So yeah. Tamil, I'd like to get to. Vietnamese, because I live here, and a 3rd language. Oof. What would I want to learn if I had a 3rd language? Ooh, I don't know. I had studied Spanish, so I always thought about French, especially if we end up going to Canada. It would be nice to learn French. So that's something I could consider.